All right, hello, brothers and sisters. This is Prez and 5, coming with a quick synopsis. I've been hearing so much disinformation right now on the docks. We got so much good stuff going on. We just had our state of the port. It's all in the papers of all the good things that are coming between now and 2023. We had so many good things on the contract, the enhanced pension, the breakfast clause, on the horizon, the strike fund discussions, the 401k, that they're getting lost in this discussion about this royalty piece. So I thought in 5 minutes, I'd give you a quick synopsis to bring you up to speed so that we can get past all the fake news. Okay, so, look, I got some notes here to keep me on point so I can make this 5 minutes. And I just want you to know that, these issues that are impacting all working longshoremen. And so this isn't germane to just members or any of that. So here is our clarification on the application. I filed a grievance with the LIGC on this royalty issue. This goes back, we're going to be going to arbitration on the 29th of March. So in another video that I did, I read the actual grievance that I filed, and so when I'm going here, the challenge for us in this is simple, but the challenge no less is that, we're making a case that Appendix F speaks to the special tons, Puerto Rican tons that we handled and how it was paid. Now, I recognize that originally my contention was that if any of the other 5 ports that also handled Puerto Rican cargo had charged the game at a different rate than we did, then we needed to get that same consideration. Now, that didn't happen, and so we find out when I had a hearing, and when we met in Del Rey in like July of 2018, we find out that all of them charged the same amount on the special tons. And so that meant that wasn't an issue. So while we were discussing, while Labor was talking about this issue, President Daggett said, well, hey, why don't we look at it that way, where we pay the prevailing rate, like on everything else? And we agreed. Why don't we? So we walked out of that meeting with an understanding that going forward, we want to do that and charge it to the game. See, Appendix F speaks to a time when the cap was based on tonnage, meaning, say, for instance, if you had 1,000 tons of cargo and they gave you an accommodation, they say, well, look, you just pay on every other ton. That means you would have paid royalty on 500 tons of cargo instead of the 1,000. But Appendix F says when it's time to do the calculations for your cap, you count the whole 1,000. So that was the accommodation. Now we fast forward to 2011, and when they came up with the new contract, they said, well, whatever you got paid in 2011 in cash to the men and women working in that port, that's their new cap. That's their new benchmark. So it wasn't, they didn't have nothing to do with tonnage at that point, even though the tonnage created the monies. At the end of the day, whatever you got in that year, that was what was your cap. So 4 or 5 years later, Mark Ortega brought an issue to the table saying, look, I think your calculations are wrong because Appendix F says that the special tons should be counted. Well, he had conversations and communications with people, the attorneys at the local. They said, no, you're wrong. The tonnage was counted. That's not how Appendix F reads, blah, blah, blah. Mark addressed this for about a year, and then he kind of tapered off. In February of 2017, Warren Smith picked it up, and he ran with it for a while, having conversation and communications with folks. He came to the executive board, and I promised him that I would look into this matter and try to get some clarification. And that's exactly what I did. As a matter of fact, I brought Benny Holland in August, and we had a conversation here out of the Doubletree Hotel. Both Checkers and Deep Sea alike were there. And Benny went, because he's the guru when it comes to royalty, and he explained everything, but he was talking over their heads, and I saw that was a problem. So the very next month, I called a special call meeting and put an illustration on a PowerPoint on the board and explained it to the members, and they got it. And we left out of there, and the next month I filed an LIGC grievance to put this toxic issue to bed, because there's so many rumors out there, 20,000, 30,000, all of that. Look, there ain't nothing but fantasy numbers in the here and now until this thing takes root and we go through the process. See, the challenge for us at the end of the day is to apply Appendix F to the cash payout. Every port, there are 5 ports that handle Puerto Rican cargo, and they all paid it the same way on what they actually received. So charging it to the game at a higher rate was not a consideration in those windows going back them 4 years. So now that we are on this mindset from the Del Rey meeting on my grievance with the labor side, that we should look at it in that vein, in the spirit of Appendix F, we are moving forward with arbitration to get management to agree to this. Because at the end of the day, you know, when I went to Charleston for a container carriers royalty fund meeting to ask, what's the problem? Why is this a problem? And at the end of the day, it came down to them changing the benchmark. It's 211 from Maine to Texas, and they haven't changed that no matter what situations have been claimed in whatever ports. And so this would, in effect, change the math calculations in a lot of ports, including ours. It would push ours to about 1.8 additional dollars to the good. So, you know, we're motivated to move forward with this, and that's why I filed the grievance. You know, not the conversation and communications that my predecessors did, but actually a grievance so we can put this thing to bed. And so we are now moving forward with that. And I just wanted to give you an update because it's just been so toxic. I never said at any time that y'all don't deserve the money, right? We all deserve, we all would benefit from that payout, right? That includes me. I'm motivated to get clarification on this thing so we can put it to bed. And if it goes to arbitration, and we'll see that whether it does on March 29th where they work this thing out, it changes the dynamic as to what'll be on the table. Because if they work it out, then they probably won't go back. If they take it all away, we could win, we could lose. If we lose, it's 0. If we win, there's 1.8. And if we got to go through all this, then you're absolutely right. We're going back in time on them. So that's the short version of it, right? And I hope that's been clear. You want to see the actual grievance that I read. It's in another Prez and 5 video. Thank you for your attention. God bless the ILA. Keep up the work. We got a lot of good things rolling out.